Sweep the leg.
What is happening, good people of YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're back here in Car Mechanics Simulator 2021, episode number 5, I think. We are back here, Route 66 Auto Repair, the historic Route 66. Full service repairs, fluids, brakes, engine, transmission, snacks, and Wi-Fi. You can see it right there on the sign. We've got snacks and Wi-Fi. And I tell you what else we got. We've got some cool cars here that we're going to work on in today's episode. We got this Mitsubishi Evo here. It's going to need a little bit of work, not much. This is one of the side job cars that you can do to make a couple extra bucks. We're going to be doing that. But this is the main focus right here. It's the next in the story mission cars. A beautiful, beautiful Camaro. And, well, we got some work to do on this. Let's jump right into it. All right, if you remember from the next episode, the customer brought in their first car, and it's not perfect, but they've always dreamed about it. So they saved up some cash, they bought it, but when they bought it with some problems. The brakes need to be repaired, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to be fixed. And that's what we're here for. There's a banging in the back, it pulls to the right, and this customer just wants their dream car fixed so they can ride around in it. Hopefully they're not speeding, doing stupid stuff out there on the roads. Yeah, I'm just saying. So we gotta fix the body parts. Looks like a front bumper needs to be fixed. We're gonna change the oil, refill it with some new, and then we got some other tasks. Refill the windshield washer fluid. That's a pretty difficult one if you ask me. But for this main part, we have got to get into the car and discover what's broke. All right, first things first, we always go into examination mode, and we're going to check out all the parts and pieces and bits and bobs and whatever else you want to say. Can't pass up that free experience. All right, we're all done examining the car. We got about 80 experience points, and that is pretty awesome. And in the process, we did discover some of the pieces that we're going to have to fix when we get into this car. As you can see, we got 495 experience points. We're halfway getting to level number 9. In between the last episode and this episode, I did a couple little side jobs. Got us up to level 8. We have 10,401 bucks. Let's go ahead and put this car up on the lift and get to working. All right, car is here. We're gonna jack this thing up on the lift and let's get going. All right, first things first, the front bumper needs to be fixed. Let's go ahead and take that off. All right, now that's off, there's really no way to fix it. So we're gonna go to our tablet, the body shop, into the Bolt Hornet section. We're just gonna buy him a new front bumper. Here it is, 350 credits. We do get a little bit of a discount. 332 is the final total. All right, now we just gotta put the new front bumper back on. There it is. Bolting it back on. Let's put these headlights back on. There's one, and here's the other one. All right, now hopefully they know that we can't paint because we don't have like a body shop that paints yet. So they're gonna have a nice black bumper in the front. Doesn't really match. Hopefully they don't really care. All right, one of the other tasks that we have to do is to refill the washer fluid. We're gonna go ahead and do that while we're here. One of those minor annoying little tasks. Let's just get it done. All right, second thing we gotta do, we gotta change the oil. We're gonna go ahead and jack up the car and we're gonna get that old oil out. We're not gonna refill it with oil just yet, just in case there's something where we have to go into the engine. We definitely don't want the oil leaking out all over the floor. Costs us a bunch of money. All right, here it is. The oil is draining out and there it goes. All right, let's go ahead and put this thing back. There we go. All right, now we're under the car. Let's go ahead and get to work. We are going to take all the wheels off. Step number 1. And boy, these wheels are really cool looking too. Love the tires with that white writing. Very old school muscle car-y. All right, wheel number 1 is off. Let's get all the rest of them off. All right, all the tires are off. You can see some of these brake parts and pieces are going to need to be replaced. So I tell you what we're going to do. We are going to dive into that right now. All right, looks like this brake pad is going to need to be replaced. We'll add it to the shopping list and take it off. All right, taking off the brakes here. It looks like we got a lot of rust and stuff going on here. Solid drive axle. Gonna add that to the shopping list. Pretty sure that's going to need to be replaced. Let's go ahead and take that out. Now there's some other rusty bits and pieces over here. Left spring U-bolt. Go ahead and add that to the shopping list. Take that off. Also up here, it looks like the spring and the spring cap So we're going to take this all apart. Looks like the cap and the spring are going to be okay, but the spring cap down here is going to need to be replaced. As always, you're going to want to go in here and check these rubber bushings. Rubber bushings always a big pain in the butt when it comes to car repairs. And once you know it, this one is about 4%, so we are going to need to buy some rubber bushings. I believe there's about 6 of them in the rear here, usually 4 or 5. I don't know, this is a different kind of car, but we're just going to go and buy a bunch of them so we can replace them if we see them. All right, here's our shopping list so far. Brake pads, we got to buy those. A new spring cap, solid rear drive axle, the left spring U-bolt. And rubber bushings, we're just going to go ahead and buy 4 of them to start with. They're only 15 bucks a piece. You never know what's going to happen. All right, look, we're going to put together this side. Doesn't look like there's anything else broken with this side, so we're going to go ahead and put these parts back on here. And hopefully by doing this, we can fix a couple of the issues on our list of things to do. Can put the solid rear drive axle back in. Bolt that up tight. We're going to go ahead and put the brakes back on here, put the new pads on, put the calipers back. All right, so that side's pretty good. Let's go ahead and get into this other side. As you can see, there are some rusty bits and pieces in there. Let's go ahead and take this apart. Calipers looking good. Brake pads, not so much. Taking off the bits and pieces here. This solid rear drive axle looks pretty good, but the piece behind it looks pretty bad. And that is the Wheel Hub 3. We'll add that to the shopping list. Definitely going to need a new one of those. All right, coming in here, the solid axle control arm looks awful. And here's another rubber bushing. Looks awful too. All right, that rubber bushing's bad. Solid axle control arm. Add it to the shopping list. Let's go ahead and take that off. Oh, we can't take it off until we take off some of these other bits and pieces here. A leaf spring plate, and that can't come off before these U-bolts, and both of these look horrible. So we're gonna have to replace all of this back here. All right, U-bolts are off, the spring plate is coming off. That looks pretty good. This control arm's gotta be replaced. And then while we're in here, looking at this spring cap with the spring, let's go ahead and take this off because it looks like this spring cap needs to be replaced as well. All right, taking a quick peek around here, I don't really see anything else. The suspension back here doesn't look too complicated, and thank God for that. Let's go ahead and buy some pieces and start putting this section back together. All right, solid axle control arm, we're gonna buy one of those. Another spring cap. This one needs a Wheel Hub 3, and we're gonna need 2 more leaf spring U-bolts. All right, now we can start putting this thing back together on this side. Starting with the spring cap, then we're gonna go with the spring, and then the cap here. All right, getting back underneath the solid axle control arm, and then we can put the spring plate and the 2 U-bolts back on. All right, tightening this one up, and it looks like that's done. Let's go ahead and put this rubber bushing back in here. A brand new one. Customer will be happy that they got a new rubber bushing. I mean, who wouldn't be? Wheel Hub 3 going in now. And a solid axle drive, putting that back in there. Let's put the brakes back together. Forgot to buy new brake pads. Let's go ahead and do that. Put those back on. All right, new brake pads going back on. Putting the same caliper back on. Wasn't too much wrong with this. All right, so it looks like this side has been done. Nothing back here looks too bad. I think we've fixed it all. Uh-oh. God knows we forgot to put this rubber bushing back in, and the customer's gonna need this rubber bushing over here. All right, there we go. Time to move to the front of the car. First things first, taking a look at the brakes. Caliper looks pretty good. Looks like the brake pads on this side are gonna need to be replaced. And uh-oh, looks like we got a wheel hub here that's gonna need to be replaced. Add that to the shopping list. First, we gotta take off the hub cap here. Take out the wheel hub bearing. Now we can take off the front wheel hub. Taking a closer look inside here, it doesn't look like there's any pieces that are that bad off, except let's take a look at the rubber bushings in the front. Uh-oh, put some oil on. We got a stuck nut, everybody, the first stuck nut of the episode. All right, that rubber bushing looks okay. Let's go ahead and put it back. That is acceptable. All right, look at this oil filter over here. That's definitely gonna have to be replaced. Tell you what, while we're at it, we're going to buy a new oil filter. We're going to buy some new brake pads for this side, and then we're going to buy the front wheel hub. All right, putting it all back together. Oil filter goes in. That'll be nice. We're going to put this front wheel hub back on, and let's screw that into place. Wheel hub bearing, putting that back in. Now the wheel hub cap. And what I did in between the last episode and this episode, I went and changed some of the settings for the camera, and I locked the automatic zoom because that was really annoying. All right, new brake pads going on, brake caliper going back on. All right, looks like this side is done. Let's go ahead and check the other side, suspension wise and brakes. Starting with the calipers. And here we go, more brake pads. Looks like brake pads were bad all the way around. And taking apart the rest of this, doesn't look like there's anything in here that's too bad. Well, here's these rubber bushings again. I always want to check these things. Pain in the butt. Oh, and that one was bad, so we're gonna have to replace it. Wouldn't you know, rubber bushings. Looks like this rubber bushing's bad too. Let's go ahead and take this one out. Part of the lower suspension arm. Yep, we got a bad rubber bushing in there too. I tell you, these rubber bushings, I hate them. Here we go, new rubber bushing going in there. One more rubber bushing over here to check out. Let's go ahead and take it out and see if there's any problem with it. Here we go. Yep, that rubber bushing is going to need to be replaced as well. And now we're going to go into the shopping list because we need more rubber bushings. Let's just buy 2 of them. Also going to get some more brake pads while we're in here. All right, and now we get to put the new rubber bushing back. Lock that on in there. And let's go ahead and reassemble this whole thing. Brakes back. Brakes were okay on this side. Wheel hub bearings in there. And let's put on these new brake pads. And we'll put the calipers back on. They were okay. Wheel hub cap goes back in the center. Ba-bam. All right, that side's all done too. Let's take a look at the car status. See where we are. All right, we still got a rubber bushing that's bad. Got timing belts, all that stuff is in the engine. And then we got some parts that have not been discovered. Looks like they're gonna be in the engine. All right, I found the bad rubber bushing that we didn't replace. It's in the front on this side. Let's go ahead and replace that one. And we should be all done with the stupid rubber bushings. All right, speaking of stupid rubber bushings, now is the time to ask yourself the question of the day. Are you subscribed to the channel? If the answer is no, stop what you're doing right now. Go into your refrigerator, grab a slice of cheese, and slap yourself in the face with it. And then subscribe to the channel. What the hell are you waiting for? And don't forget to hit that like button. Even if you don't like the video, you gotta hit it. It's part of the YouTube rules. And leave your comments down below. It doesn't even matter what you say. All right, we drained the oil out of this bad boy. Now we're gonna have to start taking the engine apart because we got timing belts and stuff that are causing a problem, and there's knocking and banging and all that stuff. So we're going to start taking this engine apart piece by piece. Got these fuel rails coming off, and it looks like there's a fuel rail that's bad. We can go ahead and add this to the shopping list. And before we forget, let's get in there and buy a new fuel rail. All right, we got to keep taking this engine off piece by piece and get in there. All right, intake manifolds coming off. All right, now we got the coil covers. Let's take a look at these ignition coils and the spark plugs underneath of them. All right, those are pretty good. Oh, there's a bad spark plug. It's always a bad spark plug. There's a bad ignition coil. So we're going to add ignition coils and spark plugs to the list of things we got to replace here. All right, now we can take this engine cover off on this side. And let's see what's lurking underneath. Uh-oh, stuck nut. Lube it up. All right, taking a look inside here. Nothing looks too exciting. Looks pretty normal, so I don't think we're gonna have to replace any of the camshafts and stuff like that. And here's where the timing belts are on this side down in here, so we're gonna have to take all this off in the front. All right, coming around to the other side, let's check this side out. There's a bad ignition coil. I can see it from here. We got a couple of them on this side that aren't looking pretty good. More spark plugs that are bad. And these 2 ignition coils look pretty good. So far we got 2 or 3 ignition coils and a few spark plugs. I tell you what, spark plugs are cheap. So we're just going to replace all the spark plugs while we're in here. I mean, it's a free service here at Route 66 Auto. Would you expect anything less? A stuck nut, lube it up. All right, that covers off, and uh-oh. Looks like we got a camshaft issue here. Looks like this camshaft's going to need to be replaced. All right, in order to get this camshaft out, looks like we're going to have to take off the front cover here and get into this. All right, we're going to have to take this timing cover off, but all these red highlighted things need to come off first. This is a tricky area to be in the engine, especially from a camera angle view perspective, because it's hard to get down in here. All right, first thing to come off is this idle roller. All right, we got to take off all the belts and pulleys and the rollers and all that kind of stuff here. And if we find something that's bad, we're going to have to go ahead and replace it. Uh-oh, it's a stuck nut. Lube it up. All right, now here's the water pump. One of the things we have to do is drain out the fluids Look, when you're in here taking apart the engine, it's just wise to drain all the fluids out of the car. You can refill them back up. Doesn't really bother you much. So I'm just going to do that now, draining all the fluids out of the car, except for the windshield washer fluid. We don't need to worry about that. All right, even the brake fluid. I know we're not messing around with the brake stuff, but might as well. Just always get in the habit of doing it. All right, back in here, taking apart the engine. Well, we got a lot of stuck nuts on this one. Jeez, lube them all up. Get them the hell out of here. All right, getting down in here between the radiator and all this stuff is such a challenge. And this engine has a lot of bits and pieces in here. Sheesh. I mean, how many idle rollers do you need? Jeez. All right, we can finally take the timing cover off. All right, here we go. Now we're going to replace these timing belts. That was part of it. So we're going to add that to the shopping list, and we'll take these off. Cam gears are okay on this side. We don't need to take those off. But over on this side, because of that crankshaft, we're going to need to take these cam gears off. All right, now we can get that camshaft out of here. There we go. All right, into the shopping list, buying the camshaft and all the other bits and pieces, 2 timing belts, and the ignition coils and spark plugs are in the electronics section. Spark plugs, let's go ahead and buy, I don't remember how many there were in there. I think 8 in total in this engine. So we're just gonna go buy all new spark plugs, and I think we needed 3 new ignition coils. All right, taking a look at the car status just to make sure we're on track here. Camshaft, fuel rail, ignition coils. We still got a rubber bushing that's bad. Oh my God. Bunch of spark plugs and the timing belts, and that should be good. All right, let's go and start putting this thing back together. So I think we've got all the pieces that we need to successfully complete this job. All right, timing belts going back on, brand new ones, and then we'll get the front of this thing put back together now that we got our new camshaft. All right, finishing up with these rollers. I think we can start putting on these serpentine belts. And finally, the belt tensioner. All right, let's start putting back in all the new spark plugs, put in the good ignition coils and the covers back on everything. I'll tell you what, this customer, they got snacks, they got Wi-Fi, they got all new spark plugs. I mean, geez, a whiz. Well, let's just hope that they leave us a good Yelp review so we can get more business. All right, ignition coils done on this side, putting back on the cover. Let's go ahead and put this intake manifold back on too. Brand new fuel rail going back on this side. One of the things we had to replace. All right, now the new spark plugs on this side. All right, spark plugs in, engine cover going back on. And we're gonna put in the new ignition coils on this side. And I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I think it does. I think you gotta replace the bad ones. You gotta put the brand new ones in where the bad ones were. I think the game is quirky like that. So for example, there's some 80% and the 74%. You gotta put the 200% ones in where the 2 bad ones came out of. I believe that's the case in this game. So that's what we're gonna do because the 2 bad ignition coils were here at the front on this side. So we'll put the 2 brand new ones here. All right, putting the cover back on, and there we go. All right, taking a look at the car status, it looks like the only thing that's bad is one stupid rubber bushing. We're gonna mark that so it's highlighted in blue, and you can see it. It was right down here, this rubber bushing right there, and we're gonna have to put the car back up on the lift. Son of a... All right, back underneath the car, you can see it's highlighted in blue. There's one of the rubber bushings that was bad. I swear, I thought we replaced this side. All right, let's go ahead and put it back on. And we're just gonna put 2 brand new rubber bushings, even though one wasn't bad. I think I just put them in the wrong order. This game is quirky. All right, now taking a look. All the parts and pieces are done. The job is completed. We fixed the body parts. We changed the oil. We did the other tasks. Now we just got to put this thing down, put the tires back on, and refill the fluids and collect our check. All right, let's put these wheels back on. All right, last tire going on, then we're going to refill the fluids and get this the hell out of here. All right, filling up the coolant. All right, next up is the power steering fluid. Fill her up. All right, don't forget, we got to put oil in it. That's what makes the car run. And the brake fluid, because that's what makes the car stop. Stopping is pretty important from what I hear when you're driving a vehicle. Tell you what, fluids are all done. We're going to do an additional task, and we're going to go through all of these diagnostics. Even the tire tread, we don't really care about the tire tread, but we are going to get free experience points from this, and we are almost at level 9. Boy, look at that experience go up. All right, now the compression tester, which is pretty cool. And let's do that OBD scanner. Now this one's not giving us experience points because we've already been in there and looked at the spark plugs and ignition coils and stuff. All right, we did get a couple. There's a couple things we didn't check, so we did get a couple experience points for that. Now the fuel pressure test. All right, couple experience points there. All right, we're gonna close the hood. Let's give the car back to the customer. Everything is good here. We're gonna finish the order. And there you go, $4,911. Our bank account is up to $13,143. Let's go over to the toolkit and take a look at what we can do. All right, we have 7 available skill points. I told you in between the last episode and this episode, I did some little side jobs, and for every side job, I scanned all the cars in examination mode. Got lots of experience. I went up a few levels, so we do have some points. And we are gonna go up in this renovator area. Let's go ahead and buy a perk there. Now this next level costs 5 experience points. We only have 3, so we are gonna hold off on that. But the real money making in this game comes when you can fill out this whole entire column here, because then you can really flip cars around from the junkyard and make lots of cash real quick. So we're gonna hold on to our last 3 skill points because we do wanna put them up into this column. You also wanna go up this column here for getting a discount, but we're not gonna do that yet. And then this column, just so examining cars doesn't take as long. And I tell you what, while we're in here, let's go ahead and put a point there. It cuts the time to examine a part by 0.05 seconds, which actually makes a difference. So we got 2 skill points we're gonna leave here. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things we can buy. Now we want the welder and we want the car wash. Car wash, 1,750 credits. We are gonna go ahead and buy that right now. And then the welder, 5,000 credits. And I tell you what, we're gonna go ahead and purchase that as well. Welder and the car wash have been purchased, and we are on the way to being able to flip cars. If we come out the side door here, there's our car wash. We can now wash cars. Pretty awesome. It's gonna help us when we go to the junkyard and bring cars back. It's gonna help us with a little extra money. And over here is the welder. Definitely a good tool to help us make some money when we're flipping those junkyard cars. All right, and here is a side job car that I picked up. This is, it's pretty cool. Basically what they're saying is there's a loud exhaust and we got to change all the fluids, which is normal stuff. That loud exhaust is pretty neat. We're going to get under the car, look at the mufflers, the catalytic converters, the manifolds, all that kind of stuff. And we've got 2 parts here we need to discover and replace. We're going to do that in the next episode. And taking a look at our next story mission, it looks like it's a Ford Focus.
Hey, don't ask me what happened to my car. I wanted to impress this one girl, and I think I might have crossed some big bushes, holes, and stones, and I probably passed a cactus on the way, or perhaps even 2. Please spare me the reprimand as to the purpose of the car. While you're at it, check the fluid level. With this amount of sand, I was quickly out of wiper fluid. It was worth it, is all I will say. Oh man. Let me know how the repair goes.
So we got to fix body parts, and we have some other tasks to do. We're going to go ahead and accept this, and that is what we are going to do in the next episode as well. And here it is. Oh my God. Holy crap. This Ford Focus is an absolute hunk of crap. I mean, this guy, I don't know where he was going or what he was doing. I hope it was worth it. And he said it was. So congratulations to him. Probably picked up some poor unsuspecting girl, had a nice car, had his way with her in the back seat, and then drove it all over God's green earth, running over cactuses and crap. And now he's bringing it to us, and we have to fix it before he has to give it back to his parents. I mean, geez whiz, this kid's in trouble. But look, we're not judging anybody here. Not at Route 66 Auto. We're gonna clean this thing up for him. We're gonna replace the body parts, do everything that we need to do for this next story mission car. We're gonna do it in the next episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And in between this episode and the next episode, I'm gonna work and save up probably until we get to about $10,000 to $15,000. And then we're gonna go to the junkyard and buy ourselves some junkers. That's right, it's all coming up. And I wanna thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, do all the things you gotta do. I mean, you know what to do. I shouldn't have to tell you. And most importantly, thank you for letting me be a part of your day. It means a lot. And we are gonna see you right back here in the next video.